Heading into the first leaders debate tonight, the latest Nanos Research poll for CTV News and the Globe Mail shows Liberal Leader Mark Carney inching closer to 50% support when it comes to preferred prime minister. These are the latest numbers. You can see he's just under 50, up over the last 3 days, below a point. And the drop there, Pierre Poilievre down 2.4 points in the last 3 days.
Yeah, joining us live now for more on today's polling numbers is Nick Nanos with Nanos Research. Nick, good to see you. You've been a busy man these days. Let's get into these latest numbers. So we saw that for preferred prime minister, Carney is up, Poilievre is down. What is the kind of overall party support looking like this morning?
Well, in the latest CTV News Globe and Mail tracking that we do, we have the Liberals at 45, the Conservatives at 37. So, about an 8-point gap. Interestingly, the nightly tracking captures what happens every day in the campaign. What happened yesterday? Yesterday, the blockbuster announcement by Honda talking about what might impact jobs and the Honda factory in Alliston, Ontario. Mark Carney responding to that. It looks like it was a good day last night, or for the Liberals in terms of the tracking, and they've been able to kind of open up their advantage a little more over the Conservatives, because it's usually been like 4 to 5 percentage points. Now it's 8 percentage points. But speaks to what we were talking about. Donald Trump in the news, Canada, U.S. in the news, Mark Carney having to respond as Prime Minister. It's just another example that when he engages and has to respond as Prime Minister, it's a bit of a political advantage that Pierre Poilievre doesn't have.
It's kind of like what Doug Ford saw during the provincial election when he went down to Washington a few times and sort of put on that premier hat. But Nick, it's interesting the timing of these debates right now. Of course, tonight's the French debate. Tomorrow, that's going to get coverage and talked a lot about. Then Thursday is the English debate, which, of course, the majority of Canada at least will be watching. But then Friday is Good Friday. Then you got the holiday weekend here. So when would you expect, if there is going to be any sort of shift in the polls, that we might see what's coming out of the debate, reaction voters from the debate, into the numbers we produce and show each and every morning?
So we'll be polling tonight through the debates. So we'll be capturing some of that. The numbers to watch are going to be in Quebec. It'll take us a couple days to see what the impact is of the debate. We'll probably have a good grip on that over the weekend. But the thing is Nick, the trend that comes out of the weekend will probably be just as important as Canadians kind of gather and talk about stuff. But to put a finer point on those Quebec numbers for the French debate tonight, right now, according to the tracking last night, the Liberals are at 45 in Quebec, the Bloc are at 28, Conservatives at 19, and the big dynamic here is a drop in support compared to the 2021 election for the New Democrats, way down. Also a drop in support for the Bloc, and the Liberals are up. The Conservatives are basically at the same level in the province of Quebec that they were in 2021. So I think the folks to watch are Yves Blanchet, as leader of the Bloc, because he's going to come out swinging, because, the thing is, he's down from Glasgow. And Mark Carney, we know his French is not as strong. It'll be interesting to see how he performs.
And Nick, it's interesting because we heard Premier Doug Ford kind of respond to, I guess, defending or supporting his campaign manager's comments about the federal election, the Conservatives kind of kiboshing their own campaign, calling it kind of malpractice for their strategy. How much do you think that kind of played into the numbers being reflected in the polls we're seeing today?
Yeah, well, as of last night in Ontario, battleground Ontario, the Liberals are at 50%, the Conservatives are 39%. Maybe another way, Jennifer, to think of it is, if Doug Ford endorsed Pierre Poilievre, what would that mean for the Poilievre and the Conservative campaign? That would have been good news for Pierre Poilievre. The fact, why don't we just say, it's not even endorsement. Tepid view. Tepid? Can we say tepid? Lukewarm? Whatever. A limp handshake? Whatever you want to call it. Not really a vote of confidence from Ford, or why don't we just say the Ford or his key advisors in this case, Corey Tenake. And
it was the furthest thing from an endorsement, that is for sure. Okay, Nick, we got to leave it there. We're tight for time this morning. Appreciate this, and we'll look forward to more of your numbers as the of course, debates finish up and the polling continues. Thank you for this, Nick.